What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to Connected by Creatures. Zach and I are beyond grateful and feel extremely honored to have the man himself, Mr. Jessy Johnson.
What's
What's
up,
going on,
everybody?
everybody?
How are you doing?
Jesse,
What's up,
man, I,
Jesse?
I want to start off and just say that, man, it really is an honor for you to do this with us. I'm not trying to toot mine and Zach's own horn, man, but we don't really see you on a lot of podcasts or interviews, and for you to take the time to do it with us, man, it really means a lot to us. So thank you.
Of course.
Yeah,
Uh,
real quick, just as before we roll into this, I hinted at it in my story earlier. This is 40 ounces for Freedom Breeder tonight. So
There you
I
go.
had, I was like, it's too good of a dad joke for me to not make on the stream.
yeah, it was pretty funny. Zach sent me that earlier. Guys, this has been a long ass day for me. Work went really late. I was almost late sending Jesse the link to get here with us, and on my way home, Zach was like, "Yeah, man, I'm almost there, and I'll get stuff set up for us, and I'm gonna stop and get me a 40 ounce for 40 ounces of Freedom Breeder." But yeah, man, Jesse, just kind of rolling into things. I don't think there's anybody better to give insight to the reptile industry and the reptile hobby than somebody who is basically born into it like you are, man. Your family, you guys have kind of led the pack for a long time, and the first kind of question or thought that comes to my mind for you, man, is has this always been your plan to kind of follow in your dad's footsteps and move forward with Freedom Breeder, or have you ever had thoughts of maybe skewing off and doing something else?
I mean, honestly, I run like my own company and different stuff that I'm doing on my own. You know what I mean, too. You know what I mean. Like I'm also just recently venturing off into like French bulldog breeding, but the whole reptile animal and all that stuff, small animal stuff, has always been real interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like ever since I was a kid, like when we'd go anywhere, I'd have a snake with me and whatnot. When I was like, I don't know, like 7 years old or so. I don't remember how old, but like ever since a kid. So it's kind of like it was always normal to me. It was always like an interest, and it was always there. You know what I mean? So it's always been there. It's passion. It's not going nowhere.
Yeah, no, I think that's what's nice to see, man. A lot of people get into the family business or whatever, in their lives, whatever their family business is. Like I got a buddy that ended up in the lumber industry because that's just what his family did, so it just made sense. But they don't have the passion for it. But I always like the comment I've left on a few of y'all's videos is I'm like, man, I love watching how excited Jesse gets talking about, even just talking about CocoBlox. Like you like literally are not faking that excitement. Like you love this shit that
Nah,
much,
because it's the best quality there is. I've used
man.
everything. I've sold everything. I've
Yeah,
done all of it, and I went and made sure that we have the best for our reptiles because
yeah.
that means more to me than anything.
Yeah, and that's the other part I think that people love, man, and what is has kept you guys innovative and I want to talk about this too because there's some little things y'all do with y'all's racks that I didn't know about until Shane did a video and he was showing these little details that I was just like, dude, I didn't even know about that. But there's little things that you guys recognized and were able to innovate on because y'all are deep into the industry already
Yeah,
before
we're making some
before you
crazy
decided to make
things
products
right
for the
now.
industry.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
we're,
you guys
we're,
were
we're
building the
doing
stuff
some
you guys
serious
need.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. No, we're making all sorts of different new products and whatnot. Like Vision had a bunch of small trays and stuff that we didn't have, so
Mhm.
we just released the same products, the exact same sizes, dimensions, all that, and we're gonna make it better. You know what I mean? We're gonna make it with
Yeah.
a cup holder. We're gonna make it with ventilation because we know everybody that uses those is gonna be in a plastic rack, melamine rack, or wood rack, or whatever, and we know for a fact they're going to have problems with humidity and bowls getting knocked over, and so we're like, we know we're gonna make it better. You know what I mean? We see the
Yeah.
problems because we use this stuff ourselves.
Yeah, man. And for everybody watching, right before we started this and went live, Zach, Jesse, and I were kind of talking, and we were talking about the supply of materials and everything. And it's interesting to me, Jesse, that we were talking about that stuff when, like my comment to you, if that demand is there, it's obviously, business is doing well. And I think that for you guys, like Zach was talking about, how innovative you are, it's not the same. And the quality's been great forever. Like, going to different places and seeing old Freedom Breeder racks that people are still using from however long ago that are still in great shape and last forever. But you guys continue to step it up and make better things and new things. And like, what's kind of the leading motivation behind, the innovation? Is it your experience with your own animals, or is it the outside sources?
Honestly, like for innovations, it's because it's something like, all right, so obviously now I've taken over doing everything with my sister and whatnot. So we're seeing stuff, say via internet. We're seeing complaints from customers from like, a long time ago. You know what I mean? So anytime I see any of that, it doesn't matter when it is, I want to make a change today. So that's what happens. Like I see like, yo, all right, so we got some sharp edges. This was like years ago, like I don't remember, maybe 4 years ago. So I was like, we got to fix this. So we got a grainer, shaves off all the sharp edges. So that was one thing, you know what I mean? We got the stainless steel, so we don't have to deal with the rust. We're the only people with the stainless steel, and probably will only be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's gonna a rack. It's gonna last literally forever. So if you're gonna spend the amount of money, say above $2,500 for a rack, you don't want it to rust out and be real nasty and all the welds rust out where it's gonna start falling apart and stuff. You want to invest in it literally is an investment. If you're gonna spend $3,000 to $4,000 delivered to your door, you're not gonna want to buy something that's gonna rust out 5 years later.
Yeah. Well, and I think what people also don't think about too, man, is the fact that that stuff holds value. So, I mean, if you want to get out, if you end up having to get out in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever the reason, those cages do not drop in value. Like if they come up for sale used, which they rarely ever do,
a lot of the ones that are
same
coming
prices
up
that people pay for them.
Yeah, the ones that are coming up used I've been seeing are like 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I see obviously our competitors ARS. I see some of them come up that are only 5-6 years old and they're all rusted out. And it's like and they're trying to compare, but it's like there's no comparison when it comes to stainless steel. So like stainless steel versus a powder coated rack, that's our old stuff that we based our business off 25 years ago, powder coated.
Yeah.
So that's old news. You know what I mean?
Because you already figured out that didn't work.
Yeah, we already figured that out. So why would we go backwards and make powder coated stuff? Yeah, maybe real nice for the moment. It's just like the toys you get for your kids from China. They're gonna fall apart within like a month or so. You know what I mean? But if you get like that U.S. built stuff, it's gonna last forever.
Yeah, man.
I love that you guys have kind of stuck to your guns on that. Because I'm sure it's been suggested to y'all before, like, well, why don't you make both? Why don't you make a powder coated option and then have the stainless as like an upgrade? But I obviously, what people also don't think about is how complicated your production would be at that point.
Yeah,
like,
not only that,
split everything
it's
down the middle.
factor. Nobody wants to pay that.
Yeah, exactly.
The powder coat on top of the stainless, we're already paying a premium for the stainless. So then the powder coat is going to cost more.
Yeah.
But
Jesse, I want to jump into a couple of the comments that we have. So Dylan from These Balls and Exotics says, do you have the V18 equivalent with a cup holder and ventilation?
Yeah, for sure. Hold on. I have one in the room. Hold on, I think I have one in the other room. Yeah, no, we got them. Awesome. Yeah, you can order any day and we'll ship it out within 4 weeks.
Yeah, and there's also a comment from Tom Rockholm from Timeless Morse. It says, do you have the equivalent of the V35 juvenile tub, but the same depth as the FB8 or V18?
but the same depth. You mean like the height of the tray? Like,
we'll see if we can.
I would guess so. Yeah.
Either way, it's gonna be the same height as the other trays. I think that the what is it? The FB5, the 15 is a little bit shorter, but it has like a lip that's kind of the same length or something. I don't know what it is, but they all fit in the same like slot.
Yeah, and y'all have all the measurements and stuff. I love looking through y'all's website because it has all the dimensions for like every tub y'all sell. And then obviously, I'm sure if they just call, they can kind of give you the measurements they need, and if it's something y'all offer, y'all will know.
Right. And just so everybody knows, I don't know how many people's watching, but like we literally just raised our prices on all our trays because we were so low on pricing and the price of plastic. I didn't even know, but our plastic company told us that our prices raised, and I was like, oh gosh, we've sold so many trays that are on back order. It's not even funny, and we're basically going to make no profit on that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the price of plastic's crazy right now.
And I think one of the coolest things to me, man, is how you guys will customize everything for everyone. Like if people have different animals and different species, and they order a rack for that you'll have your wide tubs and then a smaller tub, and it has like just going to Brian's house, for instance, that rack that Cusco has right there in his house where he has all the different animals in the same, like, to me that's badass that you guys do that.
Yeah, no, the versatility is extreme over here. I'm trying to turn my battery pack on my phone because it's about to die.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, this thing never stops ringing.
I bet, man. I bet. So Jeremy was actually asking down in the comments. Jeremy from Cure, he's asking about these arboreal racks. I'm guessing he's talking about the ones that Garrett's been hounding you guys about that you probably don't want to hear nothing about.
It's not even. We'll just forget about that for right now. Unfortunately.
I know, man. I know
we
y'all got
made the whole prototype on the rodent oven and haven't even released that.
Yeah,
it's all just sitting there. We have the prototypes of the arboreal stuff, but we're not really right there yet. We're trying to like perfect a different design. We just got our laser like perfected finally, and we're getting there. We're working on it, but it's mainly for production. And then once we get to a slow time, that's when we'll do all that innovating new products and whatnot. When our lead times are under 8 weeks.
Yeah, and that's the other part. I don't think people realize with working in shops. Like I worked in a metal fabrication shop for a while, and so there's processes involved with everything, and you can't just, no matter how great the idea is or whatever it is you want to try and do, you gotta stop production somewhere in your production line, to adjust for stuff like that.
Yeah, impossible. We gotta stop all production. We have to stop all production to make new products.
Yeah.
The only time we can do that is when we're slow. Once we're ahead on one side of the shop.
Which I don't see that coming anytime soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how often does that happen?
That's not even happening. We're 20+ weeks right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it's only going to keep
like 10 pallets almost every other day.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's like we literally get probably 15 to 20 rack sales per week.
That's awesome.
And that's not even including like the rack sales where it's like 25 in one order. That's not even including those ones that come in once in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And then somebody else just called me today telling me he needs 2 semi trucks full, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh man. Yeah, I keep telling people, man, and that's actually, it's a really interesting thought. You guys must have your finger on the pulse pretty good in terms of the health of the hobby, right? Because I mean, obviously you guys have, your business is so busy right now. Are you guys seeing an influx of a lot of new customers, like people that have never bought?
A lot of new customers, a lot. So, and like a lot of repeat customers, but there's a lot of new customers. And then when it comes to trays, holy shit.
Crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Well, you guys have the best trays in the business. I don't think anybody can argue that. Like literally everybody I know.
You want your rate stuck to the tray, you can go buy elsewhere, you know what I mean? If you can't get them off, you got to go grind that shit off.
Yeah.
I know because I've seen it.
Man, honestly, like just the way that you said that, like that's what one of my favorite things about you is like, it's not you believe in your shit. Like you believe it, you're not just saying that because it sounds cool or something. Like I've been around you, like I've hung out with you, and like would you truly believe and stand by what you guys do.
Mhm.
Like, you know, you would, I've never seen another person be so I don't know if the word's excited about a little piece of cocoa, but like you really are, dude. Like, you know, like you and I have had conversations about ordering pallets, and you know, you're just pumped up about, you know, the CocoBlox and everything that you do. And that's not only, you know, it's not only impressive, but it's inspiring to see somebody that believes in their own products as much as you guys believe in them. And like that, I think everyone should be inspired by that, to strive to make something that they can stand behind like that.
Yeah, and the reason why it's like that is because I use this stuff every day. So I'm trying to make my life easier. So if I'm making my life easier, I know for a fact all y'all's life is going to be easier.
Yeah. Well, and it's got to be cool, man, to be in the position like you know, small things like I'm probably going to end up breeding my own rats. Bradley just started breeding his own rats, right? And that is got to be, I've said, has got to be such a nice feeling, because it's like, you know, what went into that rat that you're now then offering to your snake. So you know, that production line now is improved because you can control the quality. I love that aspect of y'all's business, and I don't think a lot of people think about this, of where you guys need bedding for your snakes. So rather than buying bedding and trusting a manufacturer, you guys are like, no, I want to go straight to the source and know exactly where my cocoa came from, exactly every step of the process that went into it along the way, and then it came to me. And every part of that process is something that you guys planned to be the best for y'all's animals. And then the benefit of that is you can then, you know, share that product with the rest of us.
Yeah, I even fronted my company to buy all new machines to make this stuff exactly the way I wanted it.
Right. And I think that's cool. And again, I just don't think people think about that part, because I remember, and you probably saw it, Jesse, there was a thread going around on Instagram where there was these people talking about some like Costco or like I think it was Costco, like coconut fiber or whatever they were selling for like potting plants and stuff. And somebody was just like trying to compare it to you guys and, you know, to your other competitors, and they were showing all the tannins that were coming out in the water, and they were trying to contact the company to find out if it was organic or if there was any chemicals in it. And it's like, yeah, or you could just use CocoBlox or you know, and understand that it's just, there's no chemicals in it, because there's just not, you know, and you don't have to ask some big company that never intended for this stuff to be used by our snakes. And you can just trust them to tell you that, yeah, there's no chemicals in it. Roll the dice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, and I know a lot of those guys over there, they're not over there spraying their stuff with chemicals. I know that it's mainly about quality. Like, yeah, I get the chunkiest. I get no dust, no strings, none of that bullshit. All that stuff is sold to all the other companies. I get the top grade.
Yeah,
and I know for a fact. And I paid for it. It cost me extra. I make very, very, very little profit margin on it, but I know everybody I sell it to is going to have the best product.
Yeah.
Because I want the best for my snakes. Why would I let anybody have any less?
Right. And that's what I'm getting at. I think that's, like I said, that's what I love about it, is that it's a product you sell, but it's a product that, once again, that was built off of just really trying to supply your own needs at the end of the day. And then again, the benefit is, well, you can do it on a scale where you can share that quality product with other people. Yeah. That's the way that everything that's successful should be. You know, that's the way that this business is supposed to work.
Right, exactly. That's why we try to innovate all the stuff on our racks and everything, just to make it better for all our clients too. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that it's the most efficient, it's the most like proper, like say ventilation or anything that it is that needs to meet the standard for your guys' like environment. Some people in Florida is going to be different than people down towards the desert and whatnot. You know what I mean? So they're all going to need different stuff. So that's why we offer different ventilations, removable inserts for anybody that runs into any issues with viruses and bacterias and stuff. You can take it out and bleach soak it overnight and whatnot. And you know for a fact, instead of rubbing it around.
Yeah. Because I never thought about that, man, until you guys mentioned it. You know, the fact that like with my PVC cages, like it's a pain for me to clean the top of that slot. you know, and I bet there's people that probably hardly
They
clean
don't even clean it. You like, even
and don't
if they
think
did,
about
they're
it.
just smearing it. They don't understand. They got these racks, but they got $1,000 in racks, right? But they got $20,000-$30,000 in snakes.
Yep.
So you're gonna give your snakes the worst care just so that way. It just doesn't even make sense to me. It's like I can't even process it right. You know what I mean? They will save money on racks, but they'll go and spend a ridiculous amount of money on the snakes and give them improper care.
Yeah.
Or they'll put
the
them
ones
on some bedding that's got a bunch of dust and strings and stuff that's gonna, when they're burrowing in it, is gonna get all stuck up in their lips. That was the problem I was having with Reptile and both Pro Coco when I was selling both of them. So I was like, I can't have this for my snakes. So that's when I swapped it out.
Yeah, you cut out the middleman. Yeah.
No, I didn't cut out the middleman.
I mean,
made a better product. I don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is you wish.
I don't want that shit getting in the lips of all my snakes. That stuff's it causes infections. It costs us all sorts of money trying to clean out the infections and all this time that we invested with these snakes, having to switch them over because they were burrowing through all that dusty stuff. So I was like trying to make it better and better. My first container, my second container, both sucked. I had to make the shaker so that I can clean out those first containers for all our snakes and all the people we sold it to. And then over time, like 3-4 containers later, I was like, now the stuff's A1.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, like it comes down to like about me is everything about detail. Every little detail counts to me. That's why we make sure we're doing innovations. If something I don't like, we're running into something just like right now. Look, we shipped in about, was it like 10 pallets of FB40 gray cups. I had a customer complain about the product on a group on Facebook. I saw it. I contacted him directly. I wanted to see what the problem was, and he brought it to my attention. He showed me exactly what the problem was. Instead of telling me in advance, yeah, it would have been nicer if he would have told me in advance. But it doesn't even matter about that. I don't even care. I just wanted to make sure that the product was fixed. So I sent him replacements right away because I didn't have time to really, really, really diagnose the problem. So then he's like, oh, they got the same problem. So that's when I pulled down every single pallet out of all our pallet racking. And I went through every single tray and tried it in our racks. And he was right. Half of each pallet was a slight bow. And I was wondering why our guys were pulling off some trays for the racks we were doing from that shipment. It was like 1 or 2 racks they were making. I was like, they're not fitting. I said, just set them aside. And then eventually I told them bring all of them down. So we just took a loss on like almost like 4 or 5 pallets of trays. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that all of you guys get trays that fit exactly perfect. When you slide that tray, you can let go. It's going to close all the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be tight at all. You know what I mean? So it's like more important for us to lose money on something like that than having an upset customer. It's more important to me. All the little details count. Yeah, it would have worked. You can slide the tray in. It's a little tight and all that, but that's not even super, super important to me. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that stuff's perfect all the way through.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. And then again, I think it's clear that you guys carry that basically through the entirety of y'all's business. And again, you know, I know you've got some businesses outside of, you know, Freedom Breeder and CocoBlox that you're working on, man. And you know, I think that's going to be a big secret to your success, or maybe not so much of a secret to anybody that's talked to you for 5 minutes. You know, you're passionate and you're detail oriented, you know, and you're not. And the other thing it seems like is you're not afraid to shy away from just whatever the hell has to be done to make it the best. You know, there was a little conversation we had with Bradley earlier, like, oh, well, I need you out here. You know, if your productivity is that fucking good, like, I need you. If you can improve my shit, come on. You know, but like that's your attitude towards everything. Like, okay, there's this thing that can make things better. Awesome, sold, done. Let's do it.
Right. Anything, if it costs me money, I'm gonna make sure it's gonna get better. You know what I mean? If I think it's worth the money to make sure that it's better, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make our stuff better. It doesn't matter what the cost is.
No, I think that's huge, man.
To shift gears a little bit into some animals, growing up the way that you did, Jesse, and being around, you know, the animals, what was the first really morph project or gene that just really grabbed you and was like,
it was the spider. It was the biggest fucking shit that hit the whole fucking market. That shit was crazy as hell. That didn't even look like the same snakes I'd seen my whole life.
Yeah, they're crazy. I can totally get that, dude. And there's still, I mean, I hate that they get so much hate because they really are just crazy combos.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I understand over time stuff gets phased out. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
spiders that make really nice stuff, super nice stuff. But
Yeah.
at that time, nobody really cared because obviously we know it's with that genetic. It's like, yeah, it's got like a neurological problem, but not every single one is like that. Some are worse than others. You know what I mean? And
Oh, most
I don't know.
definitely.
But
Yeah, and you're right, man. Like, there's definitely, the neurological issue, but I have spiders in my snake room right over here that they're fine. Like, there's no wobble to them. They're not doing, and man, like that killer bee hypo that I have in it, that's a beautiful fucking animal. Like that, and it's simple compared to some of the shit that's going on nowadays that, people's got 85 genes in one animal and it does all this wild shit. But like, just bumblebees and like killer bees and like that's shit still beautiful to me. Like I think those are awesome fucking animals.
Yeah, they were crazy back in the day. Like that didn't even like you think about now. Like it's kind of like the same thing with the dogs. When I'm seeing all these dogs, like just in the past few years, there's been a like bunch of stuff in the Frenchies that just popped up. So it's kind of like similar. Genetics works like the same type of way and whatnot. That's why it's intriguing. But like the same type of things happening with them. That's kind of new. Like there's not a whole bunch of genetics out there and it's just starting, you know what I mean? So it's like how the ball python was, there was not very many genetics out there, and all of a sudden it's starting to become a lot.
Yeah.
Man, can we kind of dive into that a little bit and talk about the Frenchies and stuff? Because like I'm completely a novice when it comes to, dog breeding and all that kind of stuff. So it's
Yeah, for
interesting
sure,
to
dude.
me.
For sure. Yeah, I just started a couple weeks, so I could just give you my 2 week knowledge that I've learned. You know what I mean? But like, honestly, like I've heard all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of scamming that goes on there, a lot more than the snake industry, to be honest. Because like we point people out a lot faster in the reptile industry. The dog industry, they don't really do all that. It's not really like they don't really like take the time to do it. Most people taking care of dogs, it's a lot harder than snakes, honestly. Like taking care of them is not like simple. Like the snakes, they poo, they pee. You take out the poo and the pee and everything. Put some fresh bedding there, and then you swap out that whole tray after a couple of those poos and pees. And then you swap out the water every week. You know what I mean? But like you feed them once a week, or like if they're bigger and they're processing it fast and they're breeding and whatnot, you could feed them twice a week. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like the dogs is like, man, it's like multiple poops a day.
It's constant. It's constant. That's what I said about lizards. Was like I can't even deal with taking care of lizards because I'm like I got to feed this thing every day. I got to like prep food and this, that, and the other. I'm like I can't do that. Like I don't prep food for myself every day.
That's what that. Yeah, like but like for that, it's all like different. There's like for the Frenchies, you don't do any like some people do like natural like breeding and everything with the males and whatnot, but there's a lot of problems that can happen. There's like STDs in dogs. There's like the dogs can get overheated and like croak while they're trying to get it in and whatnot. And so there's like you got to work tightly with vets and whatnot. And so like it's kind of out of your hands more so, you know what I mean? But like I don't know, like you got to watch their progesterone and stuff like that. So
I mean, I might be completely missing right here, but is there like artificial insemination that's going on?
The AI,
Okay,
that's the only way. That's the only way I'm gonna do it because everybody advised that. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not trying to breed my dog out with some random dog that might have an STD for all they know.
Yeah.
So like, say I bought a dog for $100,000. I'm not trying to breed it with somebody else's dog and then they have like an issue, you know. And if say their dog costs $300,000, they're not gonna obviously do it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like the only option is AI.
That makes sense.
I had
Yeah, I
no
mean,
clue
if
that,
that option's on the table, that totally makes sense. I never even really thought about that aspect
yeah,
of it.
me either.
Right, right. Yeah, no, and I didn't either. I was just learning all this in the past couple of weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's a
like,
different world, man.
it's a lot of fun. They're real cute. They got a lot of personality and whatnot, and yeah, it's kind of a fun new venture. You know what I mean? Like, they have shows too. You know what I mean? Kind
Yeah.
of like what we got going on. But it's a different crowd, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could definitely see it being a different crowd.
I know
It's
Brittany Gobble has talked about the cat world, you know, because she was big
Nah,
into cat
yeah.
breeding and all those genetics and stuff.
Mhm.
And that's what she was saying too. You know, she's like, y'all have no idea. She's like, the reptile hobby. She's like, the people y'all think are crazy are nothing on some of these people in the cat world. And Antoine said the same thing about breeding dogs. You know, it's just he's like, there's a lot of scammers, a lot of crooked people. You know, a lot of fake papers and this, that, and other thing. You know, so he's like,
because it's like
everywhere
you're depending on these papers and whatnot that they're legit, and these people could go and like swap them out and do different stuff. Yeah, it's illegal and it could tie back to them, but I'm sure they got their ways around it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it's not like snakes. Like, you see the genetics. If you know enough about genetics, you're gonna know that's what you're buying. You know what I mean? And most of the big breeders are gonna back up what they're selling. You know what I mean? Even if they're wrong. You know what I mean?
Or you can just make a phone call. You know, I bought a snake, you know, the other day from it turned out fine. Like the guy ended up being a bigger name, but I had never heard of the guy before, you know, and I was but he had something I really wanted. And so rather than just like go for it, you know, I called around. I talked to some people that ended up knowing the guy. And so then I was like, okay, cool. You know, so in other words, like I think that happens a lot in the reptile hobby where people will call and ask for kind of personal references and things like that. Whereas in the dog world, if you just have that piece of paper, there's a lot of people they're not going to put in the work past that. Like, oh, it's got the piece of paper. I know that's what I'm looking for. Cool. The money, you know, it's a good deal or whatever.
And even and the other thing I've been running into is the difference between the reptile industry and the dog industry that I've noticed in the 2 weeks is a lot of these big dog breeders, they'll like, you know what I mean, smash on each other.
Yeah,
it's not like
a lot of vitriol.
Industry. Like, honestly, like all of us support each other. Like, yo, like if I don't have a snake, I will put this person on with another person because obviously they don't need what I have. So why am I going to go and bash on this guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously that snake is what they want. So let me put them in direct contact.
Yeah. And I think some of that too, do you think that that's a lot of, because it's like most customers, the majority of your customers, or I would think anyways, in the dog world they're buying a pet. And so they're going to be a one-time customer. They're buying one dog for however many years that dog might live. I know, you know, with our English bulldogs, their life expectancy was pretty short, you know, less than 10 years. I don't know if Frenchies are kind of the same way. But still, it's not like with ball pythons where you're going to have those people that are buying a pet, you know, they're going to buy one and that's going to be it. But it seems like at least most of our customers these days are buying, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 a year. You know, they're buying them in quantities because, again, they're easier to take care of. So do you think that's a lot of part of why there's that vitriol, because people are more competitive because they're like, I have to get as many customers now as possible? Because
honestly, I think it's because they want to get rid of their stuff really bad. You know what I mean? Because it takes a lot of work versus a snake. I'll keep 100 snakes over here and it'll be just about the same amount of work. You know what I mean? These dogs are like, when they get bigger and whatnot, and you have to feed them 3 times a day. That adds up to 3 times a day. If you have 7, 8 puppies, I mean, that's a lot of times you got to feed them. And it's not like, and you got to wash those dishes. You got to get them water too. Every single day, you got to swap their water. They get all these like pimple acne on their faces and whatnot. So like, there's a lot of they're like, honestly, like I keep 100 snakes before I keep a litter. You know what I mean? It's easier.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. And then on top of that, the snakes too, as the snakes are getting older, the value's only going up. Whereas with a puppy,
no, they go up too.
It depends. Well, okay. So as I say, it probably depends on what it is, I guess.
No, they go up. They go up
genetically. Okay, so it's kind of the same way.
Yeah, because like, to keep them, there's a lot of like it's hard to keep them. Like when you have like an 8-month-old puppy, or 8-month-old puppy, like 8-month-old dog, or say even almost a year female, they're gonna go up like 4 times as much.
Okay, so it's still the same scale. Well, again, I guess that makes sense because of just the genetics.
But like
So it's
with
still the same
snakes,
thing.
sometimes they don't even really go up all that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
and
do,
again,
but they
depending. Yeah,
don't. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
you're
But
probably
like
right.
a dog, it requires a lot of work. You're gonna put thousands of dollars in bringing them up to 8-9 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with the snake, you're gonna weekly feed one rat. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So in your 2
That's
week
true.
venture so far, is there anything that you would take from one side to the other, or vice versa? Like, is there?
Genetics, like learning the genetics and stuff, the characteristics and all that stuff, is kind of like something that like my eye catches right away. Like I
Yeah.
already broke down all the genetics and how it works and whatnot, and the first like a few days of that's the other thing. There's not as much genetics in dogs as there is ball pythons. Like
Sure.
you can have a whole spread of stuff with all these genetics on ball pythons. For the dogs, it's like 6 main genes.
Yeah.
Versus like 100 or whatever the amount is on ball pythons. I don't even keep track of it. There's always something new, especially because I have all sorts of imports. I know there's a bunch
Yeah.
of different new stuff coming.
As far as the business side, though, like, is there things that you've seen in the dog world that you would implement into the reptile? Like, for instance, the papers, the AKC. Do you think that would be something that should be implemented in the reptile world? Like, you got this background paperwork on your ball python or retic or whatever it may be.
I mean, for people to do that, if they're producing thousands of snakes, they're gonna not do that. Because you can see visually the genetics and you know what the value of that genetic is right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's not like dogs, like they got structure, they got lineage, they got like health problems. If you don't have these like 4-panel clearance on health certificates and whatnot, and then there's also contracts, because I mean, like, it's not like, I mean, they are expensive dogs and everything, but like there's a lot of like health problems that can be involved with them, more so than snakes, in my opinion.
So recently, my mother-in-law has gotten into teacup Yorkies, and she bought a female, and then, like, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks later, a month later, she went and bought a male. And you probably know what I'm talking about with this because I have no clue. But she had to pay for the breeding rights of the puppy that she bought. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
the
like
paperwork. That's
I
because
got
they're registered. So if they're registered, do you need to give breeding rights to the people that like that you're selling the puppies to, or you could sell them as pet and just sell it cheaper.
Yeah, that just kind of was weird to me but I guess it
Yeah,
makes
because
sense.
there's pet only and then there's breeding.
Right.
So if you sell it as pet only, what is it? Just it requires
They
that you
can
get
go
them
and
fixed?
breed and do all that, but they're not going to be registered.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
always
They can't
confused me.
register the litter.
Because of the contract. Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
get
more
it.
because they don't have the breeding rights. So AKC
Right.
won't let them have the they won't let them register the litter because they don't have the breeding rights to that dog.
Interesting. Yeah, man, that's complicated. It
seems complicated, but I learned it in a few days. I mean, like,
I just mean
genetics on snakes and taking care of snakes and all that stuff. It would take.
Yeah.
I think it would take a lot longer on genetic wise.
Oh, totally agree.
But like for taking care of, is simple.
Yeah, I just mean complicated from a business standpoint. It just seems like for consumers, it's probably a lot.
It's a lot easier to get scammed, is what it is.
And I think that's what I was trying to kind of say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was taking from it. That's what it kind of made more sense. Like, because easier gaps to get scammed.
Mm-hmm. We had English bulldogs, and my parents. I'm detailed, man. Like, I want to know everything about everything. My dad's super trusting, and got screwed on a couple of English bulldogs over the years that were like, oh, these are pures and this, that, and the other thing, and they definitely weren't. And I told him when I saw them as puppies, it's like, they're not. It's like, you shouldn't buy that dog. He said, oh, well, it's $500 versus $3,000. I'm like, just spend the $3,000. Like,
exactly. That's what I've been seeing with the
dog.
Like, you can go and spend $5,000, but you're gonna, by the time that's raised up and everything, and you're gonna go and breed it to a female or whatever, that dog is not going to be worth anything.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to sell the puppies. People want the newest, latest stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the thing was for us, like we just wanted them as pets, you know, which is all cool. But the issue is, and this is what he didn't realize at the time, was that again, when you get that $500 dog, like literally it could be anything. You know, like you don't know what's mixed in with there. So we had one English bulldog that ended up being like part something, yeah, like damn it, I can picture it. Part boxer. So like he looked like an English bulldog when he was a puppy, but then as he got older, his legs got super long and his head stayed small. And look, he was definitely a mix, you know. And this was like a $600 dog.
That's $500 versus $3,500.
And that's what I'm saying, exactly. So that's, you know, people like will crap on like, you know, dog breeders like, oh, well, I can go get one from the pound. Well, but there's people that prefer to know what they're paying for.
Well,
like,
also you might end up spending $10,000 in vet bills if you get something from the pound.
And that's exactly what I was just gonna say, man. That's the thing was, you know, our other English bulldogs we got that were pure, that were, you know, less expensive, they had medical problems. So it's like, you know, you could have saved yourself this issue if you just paid the money up front. And it goes, and the same
transfer. I found that out pretty quick because at first I was like, I don't really want to spend more than $5,000 at a time, or I would spend maybe up to $10,000. And then I was like, wait a minute, let me go and get the better stuff. Well, after I got my first one, I was like, wait a minute, like now I'm really learning about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm realizing like it's the same thing with snakes. You're gonna go and buy like a cheaper snake for breeding. It's cool for pet and everything, but for breeding, you're by the time you're done with it, you're just gonna make a bunch of snakes that are cheaper. Yeah, they'll sell really easy for cheaper, but by the time you pay for all the vet bills, raising them up, and then you pay for like the C-section and maybe all the little vet things that you might have run into if it eats a stuffed animal or something, you gotta have it cut open to get it out. All this nonsense, you know what I mean, that can happen. Then you're really making no money at the end if you're doing it for breeding. You're gonna lose.
Yeah, I can't remember who it is that says it all the time, but they're like, it costs the same once the snake is in your rack from the time you get it to the time it's breeding age for, you know, a $10,000 female as it does a $50 female. They cost the same once they're in the rack. The initial cost is put aside. They cost the same to raise. Right. So why wouldn't you invest in the $6,000 female, give them the option up front and do it one time, than have, you know, $150 females that are never going to do anything more than produce more $50 snakes.
And the only reason you be able to think like that is if you have the money. If you don't have the money, you're working with what you got. But if you have the money, like when I was doing it, I was like, well, I bought one for cheaper, and then I was like, now this is just my pet. That's the way I was looking at it. And then I got investment ones later. Yeah.
Yeah, Gina, that's definitely something I could see Richard saying. It was somebody else because it was in reference to ball python specifically. But again, that logic is not some like new concept. I mean, it's pretty. Anything. Yeah, it's literally that's any investment. It's any investment. Yeah.
Like if we try to go and source some cheaper raw material, or cheaper cocoa, you're gonna get cheaper stuff. And I'm not about that.
Jesse, so Brian and I have talked about it a little bit, and I kind of talked to you about it, but I haven't heard anything final yet. Are you going to be sending products to Arlington, or are you going to come?
Honestly, while you first started talking, I was already going to think about like cutting you off and saying that, but yeah.
Okay. You're just going to be sending cocoa?
Yeah, I'm gonna send 3 pallets of cocoa. It's going to be cheap. It's going to be what was the price? And I'm also going to send 4 CocoBlox shakers.
Oh, nice.
So we'll have all the cocoa. Yeah, and then that's going to be going to Arlington. I got to figure out what exact day I have to ship it on and whatnot. So yeah, I got to work on that tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah, like I said, I knew that we had talked about it a little bit, but I never heard anything. If you were actually going to send any or if you were going to come yourself. I
was trying. I can't make it, dude. It's not even possible.
Yeah, you got a lot of irons in the fire over there, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's not even mainly like that's why I'm reducing our collection, is because I had like like, well, I don't even know. It was like 3,500 snakes. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was focused in on that. And then
Sure.
the rack business boomed crazier than ever. The trays, thermostats, cocoa, all this stuff just exploded in my face. You know what I mean? And then I was like,
Yeah.
what am I going to do? You know what I mean? So I got to reduce the collection because I can't monitor my employees on it. And if you're not monitoring your employees, they're not perfectly taking care of stuff. So that's why
production starts falling off. And
so therefore, I was like, well, let's start selling some stuff because we need to make sure everything's A1. So it sucks because all this stuff I was holding back for all these projects, but it's the best option for the snakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was that thought process like for you, man, in terms of deciding what to keep and what to go ahead and move on? It was
super frustrating. You know what I mean? When you feel like you can depend on some people and they don't do an A1 job, it's like you feel like just throwing shit at them.
Yeah.
But like you can't do that, obviously.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, Bradley and I literally had that discussion this week. No lie.
like when Brian's like first day of working with us, we were talking about it's hard to find good help. after he drops one of our racks on top of our airline and busts it and starts blowing everywhere and everything, but nothing happened to the rack. But it was funny. We were just talking about it right before that happened. I'm sure he's got a comment about that if he's still here.
I'm sure he does. I think I remember him talking about that. He either showed it. I think he showed it in his vlog. He probably showed a very heavily edited version of what exactly happened in that conversation that occurred. But
yeah, exactly.
I haven't
seen
Brian. I haven't seen Brian comment tonight, but Brian is like Bloody Mary or the Candyman or something. Like we'll mention his name and that dude will just pop in with a random comment, like 45 seconds later.
It never fails, man. It's super creepy. But no, you're absolutely right, man. And that's that's an interesting because I know that you mentioned, I can't remember, it might have been on Searchable as Reptiles when you were on there. You had said something about how you guys have considered previously about trying to expand to a secondary operation, like in another part of the country, so that, shipping and things would be easier. But that is just literally like, you can't find the right person to even fill that role. Like that's a lot of faith to put in somebody.
Quality control. I walk through the warehouse and I see little issues. I have to stop these guys working out. Put the stuff down. Make sure absolutely no scratches happen. There's all sorts of little stuff that you hire somebody to do that, but they're not going to do that. They're going to be stuck in their phone.
No, well, and Gary, do you listen to anything from Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V?
Like I said, I don't even have time to watch TV, listen to music. I don't even look at nothing. You know what I mean? Like
he's a super successful CEO.
The only thing I have to be on is like Facebook and Instagram, just to make sure that when people are trying to say something like, "Oh, Freedom Breeders racks rust out," I got to go check their ass.
Yeah,
for the business. Stupid as shit. Like you already know. Like, so I got to go and clarify a bunch of stuff. Like, oh, well, they don't have removable inserts. Yeah, they do. Obviously, I work here. I'm gonna show you right now. Look how perfect our tray stack. Look at our competitors. You can't even pull them apart.
Yeah, no, and that's the frustrating stuff, man. And I'm sure you deal with that, probably if you wanted to, you could literally spend all day, every day, just putting out that kind of bullshit.
No, I check it every day though. You know what I mean? Just to kind of like clear stuff up. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are ignorant out there. They don't know. Just like me in the dog world. Like if somebody doesn't go out and like help me, I'm not gonna know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, and that's super important.
If I don't do it, then I'm not representing the company properly, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I love that you guys are so active, man, and again, just really do a good job of, again, just keeping up with stuff, staying on top of, again, just even something as simple as just replying to things, is super important. But yeah, I was just gonna say, Gary's got this thing. He's like, my dad always hated hiring people because he's like, nobody takes care of my. His dad owned a liquor store. He's like, nobody takes care of the store the way that I would take care of the store. And he's like, Dad, it's not their company. It's like they're never going to care as much as you do. They're never going to care as much as I do because I'm your son and I work for the same. So we have this. We're always going to have more of a vested interest. And so yeah, it's a weird thing, man, to try to reach that point where you can let go of that. And I'm the same. I don't know if I could ever do that. Just leave something in somebody else's hands.
Because I wouldn't do it because then it would ruin our reputation.
And that's exactly
control.
it.
Everybody's just stuck in their phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I don't do a lot of these. I don't have time all the time to do a lot of these things, like to go out and like even to the show and do the PR for the company. Like we're too slammed. Like if we weren't busy, I'd be there. You guys already know.
Oh yeah, of course.
But if I leave for like say 3 days or whatever, it's gonna screw up the whole production. And right now, that's the last thing we need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's tough, man.
Or even just going to the shows and then seeing everybody and then catching COVID twice. You know what I mean? And then now I'm stuck out like 21 days, and that's just gonna fuck everything up for sure.
Yeah.
It was already making it a disaster.
Yeah.
So it's like I really want to go. I even told Brian, I was like, "Yo, you got to FaceTime me so I can buy all the auction stuff."
Man,
yeah.
I didn't make it to the last Arlington, and that was the last ARBC show that happened, and that's been over a year from now. So like the last show that I went to was like almost 2 years ago. Yeah. And I'm super excited just to sit back down at an auction, like to see Brian Potter up there doing his thing at the auctions. I can't wait for that shit.
Yeah, you got to feel the fire.
Yeah, I was at that last Arlington they had, and man, that was my first NARBC. I was all excited, but obviously it was mid-COVID, so there was almost nobody there. Everybody's got masks on, and so I still had a blast. But like literally, we ended up missing the auction because we made it back from dinner late. Because we're like, normally they were telling me, they're like, oh, the auctions usually go for hours, so they're like, we'll go grab some food and we'll come back in the midst of it. The auctions lasted like 45 minutes and they were over. So we literally walked into like them ending it. So I was like, damn. So I'm excited, now because I feel like everybody's coming out of the woodworks to get there, and the auction's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, no, it should be. I mean, like, I don't know how it's gonna be like on the turnout due to the fact that COVID's still present. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
messing stuff up. But like, yeah, I heard about people doing shows. Like, there's one out here in California. I guess one of my guys
really
there. Yeah, it's a 3-day show, which I've never really heard of. And then they're only letting like 2,000 people in at a time. And I don't know. I just wouldn't want to be at a show like that. It would be like limited audience, and then those 2,000 people have to leave, and then another 2,000.
Yeah. So they kind of did that in Houston. So during the middle of the COVID shit, like they would give people slot times. And what tripped me out, man, was it wasn't so much they would, count the heads of people that were there, but like every 45 minutes or some shit like that, they would make everybody leave the building and go stand outside and then wipe down everything and sanitize. And then everybody could come back in for another, time frame. And then everybody leave, and then everybody come back in. And like they just continuously did this shit.
Yeah, and when they're already all exposed.
Exactly, man. And
all it takes is just one little like hug or whatever, talk closely.
And when they sent everybody outside, it was just like a sheep herd. Everybody smashed in together, and then they all stood outside fucking talking and hugging and smoking cigarettes. And then when they came back, it's like it's really a waste of time.
Yeah, that's all bad. Doesn't even make no sense. You see what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to be at a show like that, to be honest. Personally, Like, I would want to go to a show where it's fully open, but I can't do as much as I want to. I'd love to. I just can't take the risk of shutting our company down for another 21 days or whatever it is. Because, I get it. And then a week later, one of my other employees get it. So then, like, just that stuff drags out where, like, it runs through the factory and messes everything up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Risk versus reward doesn't make sense for you guys.
Exactly. It would just be more kind of like selfish for me to do it.
Sure. Well, just saying, man, like the last time that you and I were in Arlington together, it was a blast. So, like, I wish you guys were coming.
Yeah, no, I wish I was too, man. It would be a lot of fun.
Well, Jesse, normally this would be the time where we move into our segments, which we've talked about outside of this. So tonight, guys, our only segment that we're gonna do is the reptile of the week, and the reptile of the week from Jesse is the ball python, which it actually excites me because nobody's brought up ball pythons to this point, and Zach and I both breed ball pythons, and I think that my question for the reptile of the week from Jesse is, you just said that you had to cut back on your collection, and I think where Zach was actually headed with his how did you make the decision wasn't so much about being frustrated at downsizing, but which genetics were you letting go, and what is Freedom Breeder not letting go that you're hanging on to and moving forward with?
Shoot, I'm letting anything go. I'm just putting the price that I want for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's coming down to downsize. Like, I'm selling a bunch of pied breeder females and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Clown breeder females and stuff. Like, it really comes down to I really only want to have, like, maybe 500 breeder females.
Yeah.
And maybe, like, 100 to 200 males where I have extra males. Not where I'm, like, I don't have enough males. I don't like that feeling.
Sure.
But yeah, no, that's kind of where I'm trying to go with.
So there was nothing out there where you're like, oh, that's in this project. We're definitely not letting
No,
it
there's
go.
a few of
That's
those.
got to stay. Yeah, I know there are. I fucking know there are. I'm not stupid.
There's a lot of imports and stuff too that are like, you know what I mean? Imports,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
No, and that's
and I know
exciting stuff,
honestly, we have a lot of really nice stuff, but like also we don't have like super cutting edge stuff. You know what I mean? Like we do, but we don't. You know what I mean? Not volume of it.
Yeah.
But
Jesse, I don't know if you see this comment from Underworld Exotics. Yo, Jesse, can you explain that Raven chocolate clutch a bit more?
which Raven chocolate clutch was it on? I think I probably did it on a video, but I can't quite remember, to be honest. Plus, I don't have all the snakes in front of me, so I don't know what to really like explain on it. You know what I mean? But like the Ravens we have are more of like a clean, like tan and dark black, and then like our chocolates are more of like a more browner where the tan is, and the blacks are kind of more chocolate. So like that's the way I see them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause we have a Raven chocolate, and they come out two different looking snakes.
Interesting. What is this? I heard you were saying something about a black pastel ultramel or black pastel head ultramel. You had some ultramel stuff going on. I don't know. I gotta know about it.
Black pastel, bamboo.
Yeah.
Something else, maybe.
Yeah, it was like, I don't remember what there was a third gene, and it was a head ultramel.
So Underworld kind of expanded a little bit. He said, I think it was a Super Raven chocolate clutch that had some babies that weren't chocolate or Raven, so maybe not allelic.
I can't remember. Was it with Enchi in it?
We'll see if
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll keep going. But what were we talking about?
I was asking about those black pastel ultramel, whatever you had going on with that.
Yeah, that one's going to be up for sale, I think, this week. Or maybe in a week or two.
Male or female?
Female. Breeder size.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
You got the ultra male guy here, Jesse.
Double check the price and make sure I didn't give it away. I haven't even looked if I even priced it yet.
That's like, dude, I messaged Kabilka a few weeks back because he had posted, I can't remember, it was like a pastel blackhead ultramel female. He posted her for $500. And yeah, your eyebrows raised. And that's exactly what mine did, because somebody messaged me. It was literally like 11. I don't know. He did. I'll put it this way. Somebody messaged me at 11 o'clock on Friday saying, hey, Justin just posted this snake. And, I try to like respect people's time. I try not to text people too late about shit. But I was like, fuck it. I texted him right away. I was like, Justin, sorry for the late text, but I got to know about this this pastel blackhead ultra female you just posted. I was like, I want her if she's available. He didn't message me back, and within like 10 minutes of me texting him, he pulled it off of Morph Market. So I was like, okay, cool. Like maybe he's gonna hold it for me and he'll get back to me like on Monday or whatever. Because I told him like no rush to get back to me, just like if it's available, just set it aside. he texted me like Saturday afternoon. He's like, dude, that snake sold within 15 minutes of me posting it on Morph Market.
That's
I was
how
like,
it
yeah, no
is,
shit.
dude. Like
You sold
everybody
it for
asks
like
me
half of
for
what
a
you should
deal.
have.
Yeah, people come ask me for a deal and everything. Oh, you got group deals, and it's like, yo, these are breeder size females, yo.
Yeah,
Like,
well, that's
prices
people.
are accurate.
Yeah,
You're gonna make your money back in one clutch.
yes,
I did
yeah,
all the work for you. The chances of
Mhm.
it dying that whole year and a
Yes.
half of its life, I've already done it all.
Mhm.
I'm making it easy for you. I wish there was more dogs available like this, but there isn't.
Yeah, you're
Everybody
basically.
has got the dogs that are breeder size. They're like, hell no, because they can make $100,000 in one litter.
Yeah, man, you're dummy
Exactly.
proofing the females. You know, like you've done the hard shit, and you
Yeah.
got them ready to.
So when they ask me, I just don't really have any patience for it, but it's whatever. I still respond properly.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago. Kabilka had some female single gene clowns, breeder size, $600, and I missed out on that shit. It pissed me off.
You
But and again,
definitely missed
not to,
out.
yeah, because
I
again,
don't
for
take mine to
breeders,
that.
clowns, come on, dude. Yeah, right. And again, this was it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, and still that was super cheap.
Yeah. Oh,
But
but
yeah,
touching back
people-
on that thing where you said you're like, oh, I usually respect people's time zone and all that stuff. But for
Yeah.
me, just so I can clear this up with everybody, like you can message me at any time because honestly, I leave my phone out of my room at night. I'm just letting everybody know in the channel. But like, you can message me anytime when it comes to business. Business is business. You can message me anytime. It could be 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. It doesn't matter, and I'll just respond the next day.
that's huge.
You know what I mean? So like, that's always good with me. I mean, people do it anyway all the time, but I'm just saying, like, to clarify. Like when it comes to business, like if I feel like if somebody is like gets upset about that, then they shouldn't even be in business. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah,
Because
no, that
is
totally
business,
makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like there's
Mhm.
somebody that's interested in your product, and if they're calling you at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, yeah, maybe you don't respond to them instant. That's one thing that will irritate me though. If somebody gets mad that I don't respond,
That you didn't get back. Yeah.
yeah, like even if it's even the next day or the next day after that, or I forgot and missed it because of the time frame. That's one thing, you know what I mean? But you can hit me up anytime. If I don't get back to you, hit me up at a reasonable hour. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, I always get a laugh out of people complaining that like, oh, this person never gets back to me. Like, these are busy individuals, and I'm like, okay, well, like, what's your past experience with them? And then I keep asking questions to the point that I find out that, oh, well, this dude, oh, well, I've reached out to him 5 different times asking about animals, and then I never bought those animals like 5 times in a row. Like, well, yeah, of course they never fucking got back to you. You have a history of bugging them with all this shit and then never spend any money. And that's the first piece of advice I give to people. If you're going to reach out to a breeder, like make sure you got that, like already kind of know in your head, as long as everything goes cool, you're going to spend the money.
Yeah. You better be ready.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that friends of mine that have bought things from you, Jesse, that, whether you come up in conversation or Freedom Breeders talked about, or we're talking about the quality, cure constrictors, Jeremy, that was commenting earlier, like, he's always said that anytime he's ever had a question or anything, that you're very reachable, you're very approachable. And other people, that I know that have, made purchases from you, that you're a very approachable guy. Like you're very reachable. And dude, that's huge. Like that customer service means so much to people that in and of itself, even though, without the quality speaking for itself, but the way that you're available for people, like that's huge, man. Because there's a lot of people that aren't like that.
Yeah, and honestly, dude, I'll tell you straight up. Doesn't matter who you are. You're spending $2 with me or $250,000 with me. I'm gonna treat you the exact same. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. Well, and that's a funny thing because again, like kind of getting back to it, I like to talk to you to all our guests whenever I can, with people like yourself that are so experienced in business. Like, how does anybody coming into this and wanting to make it a business expect to compete with somebody on your level eventually when they have way more time in their day than you do? and they then don't make the time for their customers to get back to them. Like, how can they let you literally beat them on the smallest and easiest thing for a small company to do that's way harder for a big company? Like they need to be the ones, like, the communication is the best because you're small. You should have all the time in the world to reply to everybody.
Right, exactly.
So,
The only one
that's
thing
the
that I would
real
have to say that's been hard for me is honestly, like, I have to shut conversations off really fast, like within
Mhm.
like say 15, 20 minutes, because honestly, people can talk to me for 2, 3 hours while my phone is ringing fucking 10 times during that time frame. And that's the only thing that I have to say. Like, the long conversations about, like, say, snakes and all that stuff during like my business hours is, it's like really hard for me to like engage in, because
Sure.
I'm getting phone calls the whole time. This is just, I'm just saying this for everybody that's seeing this. I mean, maybe it's not a whole lot of people, but I'm just explaining it because it's one thing that makes it hard for me during the day.
Sure. I think that's super important for you to talk
Or
about.
customers that call in and they don't even know what they want. They're just like, oh, I need one of these trays. You know what I mean? Like, I have like, I want to buy a rack, but I'm not sure what like trays that I'm gonna want and this and that. I'm like, have you looked at our website? No, I haven't, and I'm driving right now. And it's like, well, I understand, yeah, but what am I supposed to do to help them? That's the one thing I get confused on. Like, how am I supposed to help you?
Dude, that reminds me, and this is a really weird comparison to make, but it's super fucking logical. I worked for a company called Payway. It's literally owned by the same people that own PF Chang's, but it's a takeout Chinese restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
People would call us and ask me to explain the menu, and it's like, no, you're supposed to call me with your order. You should already have the information because the information has already been made available to you. And it's the same thought process. And that's why I say, like, when I'm calling a breeder about a snake, it's because I'm already ready and prepared to buy the snake. I might need a couple of things clarified. And then after that, it's like, okay, cool, I'm set. Because
you already know what you want and you have questions about it. But when you don't know what you want and you want me to explain something to you that you have no clue about, what am I supposed to explain?
Or they want you to curate their whole collection. Like, I have, so let me tell you, I've got this, and this that I'm working with, and I'm thinking about buying this from you. How would that work with my project? It's like, well, and again, not that most, I'm willing to have those conversations. I'm small. I got all the time in the world to have that conversation with somebody, but you don't necessarily have the time to do that. And let alone, that's not really like your necessarily responsibility. And again, that's not to say you're not willing to have those conversations. It's just got to be when you got the time to make it happen.
Yeah, again, exactly. And honestly,
let me ask my wife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but honestly, like, I just refer them to the website first and then call me. So
absolutely, sure.
Anybody interested in anything, just check the website out first, find out what it is you need, want, and all that stuff, or what your direction is and everything, and then I can explain everything. But then again, like, as much as I can explain it in words, you can see it in a million words by video and all our setup videos.
Yeah, which is the whole reason you guys have that stuff, to answer those simple questions and dive into.
So it's just kind of like I have kind of like a short like attention span for people calling and they haven't even looked at the website, but they need racks but don't know what they want. Yeah, and a lot of times, like, I'm like, I don't know how to help you. You know what I mean?
Sure, you got to have something to go on, and that's again, that's there. It's everything's two-sided. It's a two-way street. They need to do a little bit of research, so that they kind of have those targeted questions they can ask. No, that makes sense.
Because if they don't even know what they want or what they're doing and everything, then they probably shouldn't even have the reptiles.
Yeah. Well, and again,
they should figure that out first before they get the reptiles.
Yeah. And that's I see that a lot. Again, being somebody that's a lot smaller, I get a lot of like kind of newbie questions, and there's sometimes where there's people like I've experienced this twice already. There's two different people that have reached out to me with questions about certain things, and I'm like, this person shouldn't even be keeping the snake they're trying to buy.
Right.
And
I
then
do
now
occasionally get the one thing where it's like, I need these racks, like, and I need them in 1-2 months. I have to have them and everything, and it's like they have to have our racks. And the only thing I can do is say our lead time is 20+ weeks, because then what am I going to look like? Why am I going to be the dickhead that sells this guy's stuff to him and tell him 20-something plus weeks, but I get this guy's done stuff first, and then now his 20+ weeks turns into 25 weeks. That's not fair. So everything I do is fair. So it's like, I sometimes I'll turn away $40,000, $50,000 orders just because I'm not going to screw over all our other clients.
Yeah. You got to try to, when you can, as much as possible, under promise and over deliver.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge too, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of times I do. I mean, like I'll be like, yo, buy them somewhere else if you feel like you can get them faster and you really need it, because like I'm not going to screw over everybody else that's our customer.
Yeah.
So Jesse, kind of one last question that I had for you, and then you know, if Zach has anything else, and then I just want to take a few more comments, and then, you know, we don't want to take up too much of your time. We appreciate you being here, but I know that you guys are extremely busy right now. But what's kind of your ratio of, you know, reptile racks in comparison to your rat racks? Like, you know, are your rat sales really?
Yeah, sometimes I'll get an order, it'll be like 60 racks with rodent, and then I'll get like 10 orders of 2-3 racks at a time of reptile, and it's just like it bounces back and forth. It's even.
Yeah, I was just kind of interested in if the rodent racks were doing as well for you guys as the reptile racks.
Yeah, the rodent racks we do like extremely large orders most of the time.
Which definitely makes sense, because
like if I don't know, like all these are just orders right here. Those are all orders, and this is orders right here. Like this is just in the past 2 days.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, so it's probably like maybe 120 orders or something.
Zach, did you have anything else you wanted to bring up before we take a couple questions from?
So part of what my main question when I wanted to come into this, you probably kind of already answered with the French Bulldog thing, but I would ask, I guess, for maybe something else. I like to ask people kind of what are some things that you're investing in, or some things you're considering investing in, you know, outside of the reptile hobby. You know, some things that have caught your eye, whether that's, you know, some type of collectible or something else you might breed, or just whatever. You know, if you had some money to invest in something, what would you be looking at?
Well, I'm investing in a bunch of properties, and then I'm investing in stocks, and then I'm also investing in the coins and stuff.
All right.
So crypto?
Yeah. We kind of like the crypto question.
Perfect. Tell me what to buy.
Well, man, we actually had this conversation with Billy last week, and I had invested into some Bitcoin, and nowhere near enough. And like, so I was telling Billy that I was reading a thing that if you would have invested $100, just $100.
Don't even get me started about what you could have done. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I was supposed to invest. This guy kept telling me every day. He was telling me invest $2,500 into Bitcoin when it was $7.
Yeah, man.
I'm not even going to talk about it. And I had the money, but I just didn't do it because I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Same thing.
If you would have put in 100 in July of 2010, it'd be 72 million today, because Bitcoin was 6 cents a piece.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But Billy was talking about a few different ones. And what was the one that he was saying? Elysium or something?
Ethereum.
Like that? Ethereum. Yeah. Is that one that you're looking into as well?
It's like the second one that's going to go legit. I mean, it is already legit.
Yeah, I just put 1,000 in all the small coins.
I got you.
Yeah, no, that's super smart,
because they're all like under like $5. Like, why not?
Did you get some Dogecoin?
I don't know. I could check, but
that's the one I don't
know. I bought every one of them. I just bought 1,000 of every one. I was like, I'm gonna forget about it for 10 years.
But again, that's another key to investing that a lot of people don't talk about, is just being able to literally just anything you invest in.
But I did put a shitload in XRP because I feel like that's gonna go up. I put like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 G's in there or something.
Look into NFTs. I'll just say that. Looking at NFTs.
What is that?
It's kind of like Bitcoin and a lot of that stuff. But it's slightly different. There's like to it. I'll hit me up after this. We'll talk about it after this.
Sounds good. Sounds good. What
Yeah.
stocks are you guys buying?
Man, I've pretty much sold out everything that I had, and I've been kind of just playing with day trading shit. To be honest with you, just like
The market right now is volatile enough to where you can
yeah,
kind of do that and roll the
it's
dice
been
on
crazy, man. Like I
But-
just day trading.
Are
bullshit.
you doing good doing it, or are you taking losses here and there?
I've taken a couple losses here and there, but I've also hit some pretty big stuff too.
Yeah. You up?
I'm up decent.
What's your percentage up?
About 400.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
Yeah, you're killing it.
yeah.
I need to just give you. I just need to give you 50 G's, and you figure it out for me.
Well, actually, it's not me doing it, bro. It's a friend of mine from high school.
Yeah, so let your friend of yours let me
Right.
loan you.
I need a friend of a
50 grand to
friend.
your friend.
because like I wouldn't take your money and do it because I'd feel like shit if I fucked up. But
No,
like,
it's all good. I'll take after you give me 100%. I'll take that 50 out and then just keep letting it ride.
well, that's pretty much what I did with this guy. Like I gave him 5
let's do it.
Gs,
Come on, man. I'm ready.
and he flipped it up for me.
Yeah, well, I'm ready.
Let's go to the moon.
Yeah, it's about that time.
OGI stocks and SOS Unlimited is what PD Reptiles.
Yeah.
Pump and dumping crypto, no day trading rules. Yeah, I've kind of been doing that too.
Yeah, but there's no day trading rules in regular stocks if you put enough money in it.
Right, and that's what I was gonna say. It's about having the biggest piece to be able to shift. That's the stuff people don't talk about, man. Once your piece of the pie gets big enough, it's so easy to make money. It's insane, like significant money.
Just let me know when to transfer the 50 G's.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
for
there
me, it's real easy for me to fucking lose money for some reason too.
That's why you got to give it to that guy.
Exactly.
You gotta have a guy, man. We all gotta have a guy.
Yeah,
Like I mean,
that's what he does. He watches that shit from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. That's what he does. You are at work. I'm over here doing racks and stuff.
Yep.
I don't have time to watch that shit and buy on the dips and sell on the highs.
Yeah.
I can't
The
do
last
it.
5 seconds between a trade or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy probably knows his shit. He's like, oh, I'm up 25%. Let me take out this 20 grand. Boom.
Well, this
There you
dude's
go.
also he's a super nerd, man. Like that's
Yeah,
all
well, that
he
super
does
nerd needs to hook it
is-
up.
Right, like that's all he does is fucking shit on the internet all day. He actually his job is he's Zach, you know the guy that I'm talking about. He streams on Twitch, like playing video games. Like that's what he does for a living.
Yeah.
And so like
So he's probably quick as shit with making that money.
yeah, man, he's in front of a screen.
How long has
at
he been
all
running
times.
your money?
About 6 months.
Fuck.
And you're at 400. That's crazy,
Man, I'd be eating good right now.
right?
I mean, it's
It's the whole thing, huh?
yeah, and
Well, you
it's
should
money.
pull out some profits too.
Well, no, dude, it's money that I can afford to lose. Like if I lose it, it's no big deal. Like
Right.
that.
What do you do? Just give them your account and shit and let them run it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Come on.
Yeah, and like I said, it's money I can afford to lose.
Right.
Like
So how does he do multiple counts at the same time?
shit? I don't know.
He's got that shit figured out. Don't worry.
Yeah, I have no idea, bro. Like I don't know.
It's about that time. I need to do it.
But I've known the dude since I was a kid. Like we grew up together.
Yeah.
But
Shit, dude.
Oh yeah.
Jesse, man, I don't want to, I appreciate it. So Zach and I both, man, I don't want to take up a whole bunch of your time, man. So like I said, I want to take a couple questions that were put out and kind of get some answers for some people. So Tom Rockhole says, is there a slide out shelf available for the 10, 20, 40 racks? I saw the standard and large base, but didn't see any for the 10, 20.
I think there's for the 10, 20, 40, we have one made, but we haven't designed one for the other ones. Only the standard frame and the large frame and the 1020-40, I think, is the only other one we got out there. But that's going to just be as a standard frame. It's not even in the system. So you'd have to hit me up there, like by email.
I was gonna say, so they'd have to call. Yeah.
Yeah, shoot me an email what you're looking to order and whatnot, or if you just place your order and then hit me up by email to add it.
So, guys, if there's any more questions that you guys want to throw out real quick before we let Jesse go, throw them out now.
Jesse, if you were starting anything tomorrow, say you had like, you know, $5,000, let's say 10 grand. So you had $10,000. Let's say ball pythons, because you know that probably off the top of your head. And you want to build something. What do you think you're buying?
I would buy all the pies for me.
Okay. And you know what? That's a smart fucking answer.
Yeah, that's a badass answer.
So I'm thinking about doing this weekly video on my personal channel, where basically I jump on Morph Market, I pick a project, and I say, okay, $10,000 budget or $5,000 budget, whatever it is for that video for that week, and I build a project around that budget, and I base it off of what's available in the market, and I do one of those every week. So I'm thinking about doing something like that, but that's. Yeah, those breeder females, man, that would be huge for anybody, literally anybody.
Yeah, I don't even know how many I have up there, but they sell like right away.
I'm sure they do.
It's just I think I had like 200 of them.
Yeah.
We got another question, Jesse. So and we'll make this the last one, man, and then you can say whatever you want to say to close.
Plug your shit.
So Black Sun Reptiles says, what's the best Mexican food in NorCal?
Oh fuck, dude, there's a lot of good ones right here in town. A lot of them.
Throw him out once, that way he can test it.
Where in NorCal though?
Yeah,
like Northern California or Central? We're in Central where we're at. Like
yes,
like Sonoma County and all that stuff is all like northern, like Bay Area and stuff. But we're in Central, like Turlock, Fresno, Modesto area. But yeah, either way, what's the next one? We'll jump back.
It's a Bay Area.
Bay Area or Central. Bay Area, I don't know. I haven't lived out there in a long time. For Central, we got fuck, dude, killing me right now. I just go where there's so many good ones. I just hit like even the taco trucks are super fire out here.
Yeah, it says has the fam flying home burritos tomorrow.
Oh yeah, get some taco truck out here, super fire.
Oh yeah, taco trucks are where it's at, man.
Out here is the best.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, dude, the taco trucks are the best everywhere. Like that, you know, that's where you're gonna get the.
Wait till you come here; it's gonna be different. It's a lot better.
I don't know, man.
Oh,
Houston has some fire ass taco trucks.
Houston might have some good ones. They do have the different type of vibe. Yeah, they have like the queso topping stuff, huh?
Dude, I want the tripas. Like that. I'm always down for the tripas and lingua.
Yeah, I was gonna say lingua. Yeah. That's, when I was in Auburn, Alabama, of all places, there was one taco truck, and I found it because all the Mexicans that worked at the local Chinese restaurant in their kitchen, one of their cousins ran a taco truck.
Oh, hey, come check this out. We got some better stuff over here.
100%. So literally, his cousin parked his taco truck in the parking lot of a used tire shop, like across town, you know, like, and he didn't open up till like, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. So you'd fucking roll through there and nobody spoke English or whatever. You just got lingua and they just serve you.
Lingua, bring it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We ran to a few taco trucks.
So good.
Out here.
So good though. So shady feeling the first time you go through there, but it's so worthwhile.
Oh man, I love that shit. I feel at home.
Right? Yeah, no, after a while, once they realized like, oh, yeah, my cousin, like, yeah, then it was just, I was family. I didn't have to say anything when I walked up anymore after that, but it's good stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
This has been a fucking blast, dude. I seriously appreciate it. Seriously.
Yeah, for sure. Where are you guys at? You said Alabama or Arkansas or something?
I'm in Arkansas.
Yeah, I was saying Bradley's in Arkansas. I'm actually in Charlotte, North Carolina, so I'm East Coast, man. So
nice. How's the weather?
It's actually really nice, dude. Today was fucking beautiful. I love
It's
fucking
super
driving
nice out
the
here now.
windows down. I mean, it was gorgeous. We had some rain the last couple of days just because it's we're still in that weird time where it's going from cold to warm, and so we're getting a lot of storms and stuff. There's some tornadoes that came through the southeast. I know some people have been hit with that, so my heart goes out to anybody that's been affected. But no, everything's cool, man. At least my way, we've been lucky.
Right. Yeah, no, it's really nice weather out here too.
Y'all let me know when you're going to bring a plan out this way. I'll fucking work for you.
Sure, man. Sure. Jesse, is there any last thing you want to say to everybody, or something you want to bring up before we close out?
Don't forget your CocoBlox.
Don't forget your CocoBlox. The chunkiest of the chunky.
I mean, them CocoBlox are chunky, y'all.
Everybody knows it is. Everybody knows.
Awesome. No, I love it, brother.
Man, Jesse, like Zach said, it means a lot, man, and we really do appreciate it. And it's been a fun time, man. And this is kind of how Zach and I like to do it. Like, we're all brought together, connected by creatures, like the title of the show says.
Yeah.
There's more to everybody in this hobby and in this industry than just the reptile. So we kind of like to have these conversations to just kind of bring in a new sense and a new feel of like who the different people are. And like, you definitely did that, man. Like, talking about the Frenchies and talking about business, like I think that people can watch this and kind of get another sense of who you are. And also, I'm gonna put it down for this is where you talked about your $1,000 investment. So when you become a billionaire with a B off of those cryptos, like, we're gonna bounce back to this.
Yeah, don't worry, free racks for you guys. Don't even trip.
And yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
Don't even worry about it.
Oh yeah.
But
no, we do. We appreciate you, Jesse. And again, I think on that note, we're gonna close this shit out. Thanks again. And I genuinely, I hope that everybody takes away a lot of notes from this one, because Jesse dropped a lot of knowledge on a lot of people. And what's frustrating to me is that I know sometimes the most knowledge being dropped by people like Jesse is ignored because people don't understand how important a lot of the shit that he said tonight was. So I hope you guys will take the time to go back and really analyze the stuff that he was saying, because it was a lot of important stuff that he just says just off the cuff. So look for those little details and how to read between the lines. But thank you guys so much, and as always, Brian.
That's all good.
Yeah, I started to call you Brian Cusco, I guess. I don't know. So guys,
thank you, like Zach said, and please do us a favor, man, and hit subscribe, because we appreciate you guys watching, and we appreciate all the time you spend watching us. But like 45% of our hours watched is coming from non-subscribers. So if you guys could hit that subscribe button, it would definitely mean a lot. Tune in next Friday. We have Brandon Wheeler from Morelia House. That should be a fun one. We're going to get on some carpet pythons, some scrubs. Make sure you tune in and check that out. And as always, man, we love you guys. For everyone that feels like they are connected by creatures. Later, guys.
Nice. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Later, y'all.